Hello and welcome everybody to the second round coverage of the 2021 Silver Cup here at Silver Creek Disc Golf Course. I'm Brian Earhart, joined here by Nate Perkins. I absolutely love this course.
This is such a special place to play disc golf. That drone preview of Lake Michigan. This course is right on the water.
We have Cale Leiviska, Jermaine Barksdale, Eli Swansen, and Jesse Ginthum. We are in for a treat today. And hole one, pretty interesting turnover shot. There's two routes. There's a really tight inside lane that a lot of flick turnovers go for. There's also this middle route that you can go through. It's a little tight.
We actually played a Silver Series here in 2020 at the same track. I believe we're playing the Super Silver layout again for this year's event.
And there's that inside line by Eli, and that was so close to laying down nice and flat. And we have Jesse Ginthum. Extremely focused player, lines up every single shot with a lot of commitment. Smooth backhand there from Jesse. He likes it.
He does like it.
And again, hits those tight trees. Middle gap is tough to really pure your disc through.
It's a tight line.
And I'm excited. Have not seen a lot of Jermaine or Eli. I've seen Jesse at some of the Disc Golf Pro Tour events on tour, but Cale, obviously, we see him anytime he's playing a tournament.
And, you know, we see Cale at the big events, but it's going to be interesting to see him play a local style A-tier like this because we know that he's been so dominant. So I'm kind of curious, you know, what the difference is. You know, is he just that much more relaxed? And I mean, he's coming into this with a 6-stroke lead after they played Rolling Ridge for round one.
And it's really hard to get ahead at Rollin Ridge. It's so challenging. Tighter lines than Silver Creek. They played round one there. But again, courses like this that are not the Elite Series level. Oh, and there you go.
Should have straddled.
He said he should have straddled that one. Shorter holes, more emphasis on technicality, hitting gaps, landing your disc. Distance is not going to be a huge factor out here on this course.
And we got a lefty, Brian. They're on the up and up.
Lefties are definitely on the up and up. Just had a phenomenal performance from Nathan Queen this season at the Pro Tour Championship. Got to throw the metal horns up for Nathan Queen. And Cale is going to tap in. No birdies there on hole number one.
And hole two is only 50 feet away from the shores of Lake Michigan. You can hear the waves coming in. Straight shot, only 272. Highly technical. Just a beautiful straight fairway.
As you can hear,
Yeah.
the lake, the birds. This course is so special because of its proximity to Lake Michigan. You literally can walk, like you said, 50 feet and be on a sandy beach. But because of that, the wind is sneaky on this course. It can seep through the woods, making this shot a little tougher than it seems. Cale trying to get that late flip. He gets it. And a beautiful soft landing. That moved maybe 6 inches from hitting the ground.
I'm taking notes.
When it comes to landing the disc and controlling that last 5% of the flight, I would probably give the crown to that man. Lefty forehand, man after my own heart here. And
He's a little flip.
Snap that too clean. Couldn't even get any flip out of it. But he is down the fairway. If you hit early on this hole, it gets really messy. Eli throwing a beautiful line. That got a beautiful little flip out of it. And he's going to be inside circle 1. And Jesse going with driver, throwing a nice little low flex shot there. Just going to be a little bit short of the basket.
I love seeing someone with their own unique routine.
Yeah. Someone like Jake Lauber comes to mind, one of the biggest sidearm throwers in the world.
Yeah, he does kind of the little squat that he's doing
Yeah.
at the front of the tee pad like that.
To me, it means that you are truly zoning into your lane and your method of focus, and I appreciate that in disc golf. There's a lot of different ways to do it. We saw it this year on the Disc Golf Pro Tour all year. So many different winners this year. Nice little bid there from Jermaine. He's going to tap in a 3, and Jesse has a look. About 28 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Great height. And, you know, one thing about putting with that type of trajectory from that distance, you can hit a lot more weak side putts, so you don't have to be as perfect.
Just because it's coming in with less pace?
It's coming in downwards, you know, so even if the chains weren't there, potentially you'd be landing in the basket anyway.
Nice pickup from Eli. And Cale to get on the board after that circle 1 miss on hole 1.
And we're going to see you on hole number 3. Hole number 3 on this course is very unique. So the drone is flying through the middle gap here, which is framed up by the slope of the hill on the right side, which I really like. But then entering the green on this little plateau is easier said than done. They're calling this a par 4. It's always teetered back and forth from a par 3 to a par 4. Regardless, you 2 this hole, you're feeling very good.
Yeah, the 2 is definitely in play for the big shot. Just look at this.
Look at the hyzer flip from Cale.
That's exactly what we came here to see. That shot right there.
We're going to see quite a few of those technical little hyzer flips. You love the shot that matches that slope of the hill.
2's in play here, but as soon as you don't make the hill, a 3 becomes really difficult. If you're at the bottom of the hill, you're trying to throw up and then land it flat with a ton of trees in the way.
And, you know, you and I have both played quite a few tournament rounds here. Is it just me, or has this gap opened up a bit? Have there been trees that have fallen over the past few years?
I think there was one tree in particular that fell that really opened this gap up.
And Jesse has thrown a great line, hits one of the guardian trees right in front of the plateau. And there's the flip up he was looking for. Just a bit too much. Needed just a bit more lift on that hyzer angle.
We might see quite a few forehands from Jermaine.
I am all for it.
Yeah, just behind this basket is the actual Silver Creek where the park and course gets its name.
Okay, this is a tight little window. And it looks like he stuck it somewhat close to the basket.
Little death putt action right there.
Yeah.
Putting straight down the hill.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a drop off behind the basket. Jesse so close, hit the last Guardian that he needed to miss. But this should be pretty routine for him. About 120 feet from the basket.
And get down.
I don't think that was what he wanted.
You might have a look. I love that full pan back to the basket. Like, where's it at? All right, cool. Now we know.
He's definitely gonna have a putt, but it definitely faded out a bit earlier than he wanted. Cale's beautiful little hyzer flip to turn shot faded out a bit early, so birdie is gonna be tough for him, but still doable. He
Come
can
on,
throw one
Cale.
of those teardrop hyzers.
Give us the forehand.
No, give us the double G skyhook teardrop hyzer putt. That's
All
what I
right.
want to see. Oh,
Nope. Yes.
press 1 in the chat if hyzer.
Yeah.
Press 2 if forehand. He's going hyzer.
All right, good move. Good move.
Yeah, a 3 is never going to lose you strokes on this hole.
That's where things start to get sketchy because it's not that big of a hill, but you can leave yourself almost no putt
Yeah.
if you go all the way down it. Oh, and is that him down there?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
So Eli is just going to have another putt. This is a death putt for Jermaine. This is big. Luckily, he's lefty on this one. Left it short. Tap in for the par. This is one of those holes where a 3 feels like a par and a 4 also can feel like a par. It's kind of a strange back and forth hole.
Oh no.
And that actually is going to feel like a bogey right there. He was right in front of the basket and just kind of messed up a routine up shot. Oh, and Eli also misses right.
Tough hole. He's putting for a 3. He's going to be taking a 6.
It's going to be a double bogey 6 for Eli. And that is killer. Cale's going to take the quote-unquote birdie here. He will move to 15 under, 8-stroke lead on the card. Someone's going to really have to catch fire to make sure he doesn't have a lot of cushion going into the final round.
All right, we're playing the par 4 here. Up the hill, you have to pick one of these gaps right here. We're passing the old basket there on our left. Ideal landing spot is right here, and then you're just pitching it down the hill. Slight slope that the disc can run away with you if you're not careful on the approach.
When this was a Silver Series in 2020, I loved watching all of the elite shot shapers try to put one in circle 2 on this hole.
Boomerang.
Yes,
Yeah.
trying to bend the high panning shot around the corner. I saw Nathan Queen throw a flip up, kind of a spike hyzer with the flippiest disc in his bag, put one within 90. Sweet, sweet hole. Big turnover from Cale, holds the entire way.
And that's an ideal spot right there, right by the old pin placement. He's in the clear from there.
Yeah,
it's just a
that's-
little touch,
yeah.
180-foot, 200-foot shot from there.
Yeah, the old pin placement feels like the apex of a check mark. You know, the down slope of the check mark. He has a straight look at the basket. And he makes the Mando. You see there is a Mando arrow on that tree off to the right side that you have to go left of.
Oh, so Jermaine is really leaning on the flick here if he's not throwing the backhand hyzer here. See if he can get this to turn over.
Oh, and he
yeah.
does.
That's a fun shot. He's
This
past all
is-
the trees.
Yeah. And Eli also throwing a long turnover. Looks like driver. And he's going to be in a decent spot as well. And here's a little downhill floater from Cale. He doesn't like it. Oh, boy. You know, if
We get to see his jumper.
we do. Downhill death putt jumper. If I had to pick 5 players, though, to get up and down from 200 feet, Cale would be on that list. So this, I hate using the word uncharacteristic. I think it's used a lot in the world of disc golf.
It
but
totally is.
that one, ooh, a little bit of a shanky from him.
I've always kind of wondered that too. Is getting up and down or like being good at a certain shot a part of your character? I'm just curious where that phrase come from. We don't have to dive into it
Yeah.
right now, but maybe you guys can let us know in the comments
Yeah.
where that phrase originated from in sports.
Getting up and down.
Yeah, and just, when a quarterback throws an interception, they're like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers, that was uncharacteristic of him."
Yeah, well, I think it has something to do with the fact that people take it for granted. They do it so well that people take for granted how excellent the consistency is.
All right, Cale from maybe 50 feet, 45.
Yeah, putt's gonna play about 30 with the downhill slope. Just off the front. Missed opportunity there from Cale.
Rest of the cards going. So you're saying there's a chance.
Wide open door.
Yeah, you're good. All right.
Yeah, I think so.
Beautiful stroke from Jesse. Moves to 8 under. And 3 birdies from our players chasing Cale. And Cale with the lone par. Like you said, so you're saying there's a chance here
Yeah.
as we move into hole number 5. I love this hole. Hole number 5, par 3, 365. There are a couple gaps to hit, but you most of the time are going to fly through this middle gap here. The hardest part is the shape. It's so subtle. Bends a little bit to the left, hits the tree line, and bends back to the right. If you have one of those long drifting sidearms, that's really the shot for it. A lot of players who like the backhand will just try to play to be inside circle 2 left of the basket. And Jesse is opting for the flex sidearm.
Are we going
or is he
roller?
going roller? I'm okay with this.
Me too. Oh, looks like it's flipping a little quick. Yeah, it is. That's my problem with the distance forehand roller too, is I just can't find that spot, how early I want to lay it down for it to not flip too quick.
Yeah, I feel like with this one, you almost want to look at that left gap, kind of lay a flip up or a flip over shot with the forehand and let it hit in that left gap and cut. Jermaine's just drifts off to that right side. Hopefully he has a look. It's a little hairy back there. And Eli lining up the backhand. Pulls it just a bit, but he pulls it actually enough to maybe be all right. Again, if you're far enough in that clump of bushes, you might have a look at the basket.
Wow, Cale's still going mid here. This is going to come out on a pretty severe hyzer and hopefully start to flip up right as it's getting to the gap.
Oh, man. And it's just
What
going to
in the
lose the
world?
stability.
He did exactly what he was intending to do right there with that M4. I believe it's
Wow.
M4.
Yeah. More than likely it's an M4. That was beautiful. It hit that hard hyzer and it moved left and then lost all stability late in the flight. Someone that I feel like also throws that shot really well is Drew Gibson in our division with the Buzz. He loves throwing hard hyzer, getting it to move left, but then to flatten at the end.
Hey,
Almost drops the teardrop in the basket.
what color?
Okay, let's see if Eli has something from these bushes. I believe he does. Wide straddle. Taking a 3 on this is really not that bad. You see a lot of people hit early. And for a backhand birdie, this is impressive. Cale with the hyzer push putt.
Yeah, letting one go on the last hole and then just picking one up on nearly the whole field with the birdie right there.
This is definitely a bonus birdie, for sure.
That's a premier birdie with a mid-range on a 365-foot hole. That's exactly why Cale has had the career he has, is that those capabilities right there.
Well, and it's so low impact. He throws so smooth, so slow, shapes the disc so well. And he'll be able to play like that for 3 more decades.
All right, this is one of the more famous greens in the sport, really, as far as photos taken. This is the lighthouse hole. Pretty tough drive, 375 to the corner, and you really want to push as straight as you can before you start hyzering. Wow. An incredible green. You want to push this one straight before you start hyzering. If you hyzer early, there's a lot of trees, and now from there, it's a really difficult approach to a green, to a basket that you want to be really close to.
Yes.
It's exposed. It can get so windy out there on the little peninsula.
And Jesse's looks really good. Oh.
Did they get a late one? Man, that looked like such a clean hyzer.
But yes, you are correct. And this is one of those elevated baskets that's so elevated that if you are pinned up against it and you're not tall enough to drop it in, it's a scary putt.
Yeah, it gets really uncomfortable.
The trick is to not have it touch the lighthouse.
what?
Beautiful drive from Jermaine. He has the opportunity to get the eagle. It usually gets hit couple times per tournament.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a lucky drive that cuts inside. A lot of times it's shots just like that. Eli trying to get a little snaky through that inside line. And that's a messy, messy section. We will see where he ended up there.
Oh, shout out to Jeff Ron. Jeff Ron, a longtime friend of Cale and a longtime supporter of all things disc golf.
Now, as Cale lines up this approach shot, we are coming up on a beach, a little sandy beach. Is it my understanding that glass is made from sand? Is that?
Yes, it is, Brian, and it's a interesting thing that you're bringing up glass, because we do need to give a shout out to one of the longtime sponsors of the Silver Cup, Lakeshore Auto Glass. And funny enough, the beach is actually inbounds. I've actually seen someone make a putt from the beach through the fence onto this elevated green.
Incredible. Jermaine is just thrilled to be able to. He looks like a tall man. He looks like he'll be able to drop in his birdie 3 from there after a gorgeous forehand drive.
I mean, look at that basket. On top of a lighthouse.
Cale's got issues here. This is going to be a tough putt. Low ceiling. You just better hope that he has a tailwind. Great putt for the birdie from Cale.
And how would you describe Cale's putt? You know, how much spin, how much push?
It's to me, it's a pure hyzer push putt. Like you watch his arm go down. It's a little bent, but it's one mechanism. It's not necessarily bending like you'd see from a spin putt. I would say pure hyzer push putt. And there was a time, I believe a season or two ago, that he switched to a spin putt for a few tournaments.
I remember. I think you and I called. I think you and I might have called that round actually.
Yeah,
we saw that.
But, you know, it's a skill that a lot of players are starting to develop, and you wonder if it was for him just trying to get game time experience with it. But, yeah, Cale's back to the old putt, and it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Nice little birdie there from Jermaine. He moves to 9 under, tied with Jesse, trying to track down Cale, but he is not making it easy. We will walk away from Lake Michigan, and we will move into hole number 7. Par 3, straight ahead, very scenic. Lots of little bushes you have to throw over. But there is a little bit of a framed ceiling, but you just get to throw the smooth, slowly flipping shot to the basket. Putting it on some nose-up hyzer, and it looks to be undesired nose-up hyzer. Sawed off a bit from Cale. Door is open. Sizing it up. Puts a good move on it, and from the beginning you thought it was going to get that flip.
I like the dance that he did. He's like flip, flip, flip.
Hey, you never know if interpretive dance, might get your disc to flip a little bit more. It's worth the try.
That's probably one of the most used words when you throw a shot. You're like flip.
Yeah.
When you know that it's just not going to magically flip for you.
It's really a desperate prayer at that point.
Yeah.
And 3 of the same mistake being made there. Jermaine's also not getting the flip. You wonder if there's a wind out there that's preventing it.
Yeah, that, and also those trees on the right, if you hit early right, that's kind of that instant bogey land over there, and so that's typically the miss you will see on this hole. It's just a little bit too much hyzer.
And Eli gets his to flip over, but he is going to push over into that right side. You see flags over there. I don't believe it's OB. I wonder if that's marking some sort of wasp nest. Oh, Cale bangs one from circle 2. Spin putt. That season of spin putting has paid off for Cale. Springy man.
Did you play this hole when it was a $10,000 ace?
I hit metal on it, actually.
No, you did.
I did.
Wow. I was going to give the shout out to Noah Mindsma for hitting dead center and splashing out. But
he also did.
You hit metal. Wow, that's
So me,
exciting.
I would say me and Noah are probably the ones that hit metal on that hole. I remember him telling me that he hit it that day. We both were freaking out. I threw
Yeah.
a stalker, played the wind perfectly. Yeah, that was exciting.
Or hit cage or
Chains, left side.
chains.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Left
that
side
is-
was about 3 feet long. Those are the moments that get your heart pumping.
Yeah. And you have mixed feelings too. You're like excited about the shot, but you're like kind of devastated that you don't have 10 grand.
It was a little windy, so I was actually just grateful to have a tap-in birdie at the time.
Yeah.
But,
But you'd pay
Ju-
10 grand to have a par or,
oh yeah.
you know, I mean, you would pay a
I would
par-
pay 10
you would
grand
pay
to take a par?
You would pay a birdie to have 10 grand.
Yeah, I'd pay that.
Yeah.
I
You'd
would trade.
sacrifice one birdie.
Oh yeah. And
You'd pay 10 grand per birdie. All right, hole 8, another par 4. We're headed up the hill here. You want to get as close to the gap as you can on this one because the gap gets really small here at the end. Flying through it now. We'll see big rollers on this hole. Distance can really play on this one. It says 500, but it plays so much longer.
it plays 500 to 600. There's like a green strip of success down the middle of this fairway as Cale kicks off to the left side. Birdie is almost not in question there. If you land too far down the left side of the fairway or too far on the right side of the fairway, even if you're on the short stuff, the angle to the green is so challenging with that tight funnel. Jesse puts a good move on it. Is it going to stay in the middle? And yeah, he's going to have a nice little hyzer to the basket.
Well, he really comes through quick. He's kind of slow with his little run up, but that last movement is aggressive.
And that's perfect for him right there. It's going to be another hyzer sidearm. And Eli wants that to come back. Kind of pulled it right. And that is par at best from there. You wonder what Cale's thinking of this shot.
What's that same M4?
Flippy.
Kind of a medium hyzer, and he's going to, again, try and get it back to flat as it's flying through the gap.
Oh, he is trying. And he's going to have a long look at the basket, maybe 100 feet.
Tough spot. You'd really like him to just pitch out toward the gap. Yeah.
Okay. Jesse has a chance.
So he, at the minimum, does 25 squats around, 30 squats around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually probably great, honestly.
Yeah.
And obviously paid off for him. He's under the basket for birdie. Jesse going for the hyzer forehand, and he hits early. He's still going to have a little work to the basket. Oh, and that is the elementary mistake you can't have happen.
It really shows you how tight this gap is.
Oh, it's frustrating. It's a frustratingly tight gap. And especially with the sidearm, it's very hard to be that finesse with the sidearm. It's a tighter margin or tighter window than it is for a backhand.
Let's see if he can spin him in back-to-back holes.
70 feet. No way. Ooh.
I love a good Mach X in a forest.
Nate Perkins, 2021. Quote that.
You ever just like walking around a random park and you see a basket and you had no idea it was a disc golf course?
And you smirk ever so softly to yourself.
It happens every now and then driving on tour. You know, you're like, you see a, you know, just a in your mind a fairway, and you're like, oh wow, that'd be a nice disc golf course. And then you see the basket and you just light up.
It's happening more and more
Yeah, it
each
is.
year. And that's going to be an unfortunate bogey there from Eli. But again, where he was at off the tee, par was going to feel like a birdie at that point. Made one mistake. There's your bogey. He moves to 7 under par. Cale is going to take a par after setting himself up for a decent look. And I think that's the name of the game on any par 4. You really just have to try to give yourself a chance if you're out of position. Oh, boy. He got Mach X'd. And a beautiful tap-in birdie from Jesse. He moves to double digits. Hole number 9 is an eagleable. Well, it's a par 3 this year. 524 feet. It has been a par 4 in the past. But like I said, it is birdieable from the tee pad. You have to choose whether or not you're trying to go over this OB road. So you either throw a hyzer through that right gap or you blast a hyzer flip through the center gap and try to get all the way down the hill. I don't know what we'll see from this card. I don't know the power levels of everybody here. Okay, Jesse wants it.
Keep flipping. Now hyzer.
He needs it to
Oh,
fade.
he had great angle on that one. That looks like it just kept flipping a little too much, but I think he might be safe. This is a phenomenal too.
Oh, it feels fantastic to get it. For sure.
So this is the D1 before the walk-off ace.
Ah.
Yeah.
And Cale has made it across the road. Not going to be a birdie look from there, but he will be able to pitch up and take a 3.
And sorry, for those of you that are not familiar, I'm not referencing the walk-off ace from this event with a spoiler. I'm referencing the walk-off ace that Cale had later in the season with that exact disc. He threw it all year, really.
Oh my goodness.
That's a big forehand.
Jermaine has crushed that forehand.
Trying to figure out or make sure I got a line on where we need to walk.
Yeah. I mean, we got.
I think he got across.
So that helps.
Do you know where Jermaine's from? I saw him at a few events this season.
You know, I have never played with him before,
Okay.
nor have I played with Eli.
If you played with Jesse? Jesse played a couple Pro Tour events, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I have seen him at numerous events on the tour. Only one I've played around a disc golf with is Cale, which is definitely refreshing.
All right, that's a putt.
All right, coming into the green.
The famous last words.
Coming in. Is it my turn yet?
Yeah.
You're
Well,
still out.
Not a not a bad shot. He put himself to circle's edge. And Jesse has work to do as well. This is thick back here. I don't know if he has a look at the basket. Wow, that was as good as you could get it. Great shot. So Cale is closer than I thought. He is edge of circle 2, putting for birdie. A little spin hyzer, cashes it.
He's just a couple of putts off of a perfect start, really. I mean, he missed a short one on 1 and missed a jumper on 3, and that last spinner, he almost spun it in.
One of the best tournaments I've ever played was Silver Cup in 2017, and I lost to Cale by 1 stroke, I believe.
I remember that.
And I only made 1 mistake down the stretch. He played
that
a
year.
near perfect round of disc golf, and I was sweating. He looked like the least stressed person on the planet, and I was sweating. It was impressive to watch him play out at this course, and he's won here so many times.
It seems like just a perfect day for disc golf, too. I mean, we haven't really seen a lot of wind.
No,
If
even
any.
on some of the more exposed holes.
I really would recommend Wisconsin in the summer.
Definitely.
The tournament director, Jim Van Lannen, they own the Lighthouse Inn. It's a hotel and restaurant right on the water, grandfathered in, and the bar just has these huge windows that look out over the lake and got a nice hot tub you can chill in. I highly recommend visiting the Lighthouse Inn.
And just coming to, all the different hotbeds of disc golf in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Manitowoc, Madison is a phenomenal destination as well. And then you go northern in Wisconsin, and there's just endless amounts of beautiful wooded disc golf for you. There you have it, folks. That is the front 9 holes of the second round of the Silver Cup. We will come back at you for the back 9 soon. Make sure to subscribe, and we will see you soon.